Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Monster Tamer Showcase, the segment on this channel where we introduce new monster taming games. Now, to be fair, Mythren is something we've been covering for probably months at this point in our Monster Tamer news segment, but I haven't done a sole dedicated video to it just yet. And I was waiting for some more information before I did this showcase, and we just got dumped with a bunch, so I think this is perfect. So this video is going to be quite thick, if I could say. We have, what we're going to do is we're going to go through all of the Twitter information. Then we have the October newsletter. So they have a monthly newsletter, much like how Kindred Fates has their bi-weekly one. So that's something we'll cover every month moving forward. We do also have some exclusive information that Zane sent me, one of the devs. And thank you so much for that, Zane. We'll go over that too towards the end, so stay tuned. And we also have a Q&A that took place in the Discord. So we got a lot. Like, this video is going to be pretty long, I'm assuming. So I'm not going to waste too much time on the introduction. But what is Mythren? So Mythren is a monster taming game that features an open world and real-time combat. Now, you're going to see in a minute that the combat's different from what you'd expect from, let's say, Kindred Fate seems to be more oriented towards Dark Souls, whereas Anaton's is more sort of over the shoulder. And now we have Mythren, which is almost like what I'd compare it to is Naruto Clash of the Ninja from what I've seen. So let's just jump in. So you can already see on screen you got a couple of the Mythrens running around. They're called Graccoon. This is very early footage. Like, this is the first tweet they've ever published, as well as this this art here. So that's Graccoon. It was the first ever revealed Mythren. We got the female character model. You can see you could pet your Mythren. They showcased a training exercise you can do to up their stats and whatnot. Again, I have covered all of this through various Monster Tamer news segments, so I'm not going to spend too much time on this stuff because, like I said, there's a lot of other stuff we need to talk about. But yeah, they have a little training exercise that you can go through if it wants to load for me. There we go. So you just mash the B button and it hits the bag. It's sort of like super training from Pokemon. This is the official concept art for Graccoon. You know, he's sitting there looking a little sexy. Attack animation. Some pre-alpha overworld footage. Now, don't mind the blur on the screen. This is something that Twitter likes to do. Like, half the video will be blurry, then the other half won't. I don't know why Twitter videos do that. There you go, that's better. I don't know. See how it went blurry? I don't know why Twitter video does that. Twitter sucks. Oh, look who they retweeted. See, like, the game's looking pretty cool. Like, this is really nice. I like it, and I actually do like how they outlined the Mythren to make them more noticeable in the overworld. The outlining's a nice touch. So this showcases there's also a bond system. There's a lot that goes into this game that's in the same vein as Kindred Fates in terms of like bonding with your monsters and stuff like that. The monsters aren't as sentient as humans from what I know. But anyways, this is Scowl, one of the other starters. This is a fire owl thing. It's a grumpy Mythren with a good reason. When Scowl is enraged, it erupts in flames and uses anything it deems a threat. Scowls have powerful talons, which they use to chip away at their enemies' defenses. So, kind of reminds me of Blaziken. Oh, another another retweet from me. Okay, so we got the training stuff. So start training your with your Mythren by first building one available training objects. Building the sandbag will allow you to engage with your Mythren, work together. So I'm actually very curious. You're going to be able to build those sort of super training items. So I'm wondering if there's like, so that's a regular punching bag. Maybe they'll have like, I don't know what they're called, but they have those, they're made of wood and they have different appendages. And when you hit one part, it makes the other part like spin towards you. I wonder if they'll have like different aesthetic ones, like one that looks like that, for example. And maybe different ones will give you different stats. Okay, this is the battle screen. So to me, it looks like I said Naruto Clash of the Ninja. That's not based on this image. This reminds me a little more of Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm, like the sort of 3D fighting. But yeah, so it reminds me of a mix of the two, kind of. And again, don't mind the blur. That's not the game. That's just Twitter video. But yeah, it's pretty legit. I think that's a really cool like switch to the, because you know what, if every single game went the exact same route with the way they go about their real-time combat, it'd be kind of boring. So it's nice to see that all these 3D real-time combat monster tamers are all coming up with something more unique. I actually think this is pretty interesting. It'll definitely make for a fun, like if they have like a versus mode where you can just select any Mithrin you want and just fight. That'd be pretty cool too. Yes, oh, their Discord. So I'll leave a link to their Discord in the description. Definitely join that. Zane's also very active in my Discord as well, so join both because they're both sexy. Want to gain the upper hand and deal more damage in battle? Try using your skills your Mithrin have learned. Your skills your Mithrin can use depend on your Mithrin's type. That makes sense. So you can see some of the attacks it's using here. It does use an Earth type attack, if you noticed. There. So I'm wondering if it's a dual type. Something to think about. This is Keror. This is the, I guess, wind type starter, air type starter. With acute senses to changes in the air, they can react quickly to any threats. They have their air ducts on their back and one on each palm, which allows them to shoot and control airflow. So he's out here looking like Datara from Naruto. I think I mentioned that in Monster Tamer news. Oh, they retweeted Necromancer's GIF. Let's see, 1 day left. Okay, so they had a naming contest. Or no, it was a poll. It was a poll. Never mind. It was a poll for which starter people liked more. We got some concept art. So Keror was a winner, so we got some concept art for it. This is actually quite interesting with the color iterations. I wonder if all of these different types of colors are going to make it into the game. Another screenshot. Very nice. I believe that's pretty much it for the Twitter. So, yeah, their Twitter has some information, but there's going to be a ton in this newsletter. So we're going to jump into the newsletter. Then I think we'll go into the Q&A, and then we'll finish off with the exclusive information that Zane sent me. I haven't read this yet, by the way. This is all for first time, so we're gonna get some reaction out of me too. So October newsletter, The Wild Isle. First of many. Hi there, welcome to Small Leaf Studios. I didn't even know that was their name, so there we go. First newsletter. We figured we would start documenting our progress throughout each month of the game's development from here till we no longer can make frequent updates. We plan to use these as a chance to share with you what we are up to and what we're currently working on. Also, this is a chance to share some more aspects of our game in a more detailed breakdown. Anywho, on to the good stuff. The vertical slice. We've been working hard on building a vertical slice build of Mythren. This will allow us to approach publishers and attempt to acquire funding, and it also provides us with the framework of a prototype build for a Kickstarter if we do decide to go that route for funding. If they do, I'm cool with it. I think Kickstarter is a great way to get your fans involved, but if you can get a publisher, that's great too. You could do both. I think Monster Crown did both. Anyway, a vertical slice is a slice of cake. It has everything that makes a game. Well, the game. This isn't the full product or at full polish, but just a taste of what the game will be. If you're still curious about what a vertical slice is, I highly recommend checking out this blog post on this very topic. We currently have one Mithrin functional for the vertical slice, functional in both combat and in overworld, as well as the following features. Another functional non-playable combatant, a functional home island, wild isle zones, combat systems, both player and AI wild encounters. We feel that our current combat will be a great feature in our vertical slice of Mythren and have been making minor tweaks here and there whilst also focusing on giving some much needed love to the home and exploration islands. The home island. The home island is where you start every day on your journey, and from here you can partake in many activities such as training, bonding, and spending a little R&R with your Mithrin. Now, when they say where you start every day of your journey, I'm wondering if there's like some sort of sleep system and that'll sort of send you back to that island, or if that's just the way they worded it. I might be looking a little too into this, but it's a little bit suspect. We're gonna have to see in the future if this is hinting at a game mechanic. Like, for example, Nova Magica, you gotta sleep in your bed when you get tired, stuff like that. So interesting little thing to point out. When you train or participate in activities, you will use up activity points, and after half of these points have been used up, you will progress to night. Oh, there you go. Okay. Aiden has been working on the second training minigame for increasing your speed stat. The previously shown minigame was for attack stat. These are how your Mithrin raise their stats after earning training points from leveling up. This month we also plan on linking up the home island and the wild isles, so you can travel between the two and have semi-playable internal developer build that doesn't require the Unity editor to play and test. Oh, that's good. Maybe they'll come out with a demo soon. The Wild Isles. The Wild Isles act as a place where you can level up your Mithrin, collect resources, and most importantly, meet the new Mithrin. When you want to visit the Wild Isles, you must spend every single activity point you have at the start of the day to travel here. Carefully choosing between spending the day traveling at the home island or adventuring in the Wild Isles is key to succeeding in Mithrin tournaments and raising your Mithrin. So it almost seems like there's going to be a cross between like monster raising and monster battling. Sort of in the same... I'm not too sure because I haven't played it yet, but I'm assuming maybe somewhat like Re-Legend. Carter has implemented the first half of obtaining a Mythren. This is known as the Mythren emblem quest. While exploring each zone of the Wild Isles, you'll encounter pieces of a Mythren emblem that reveals the next location to another piece. Once all of the pieces of an emblem have been collected, you'll be able to meet the respective Mythren and have them join your team. Here's what those pieces look like. Oh, that's pretty cool, actually. That's actually a really interesting way to switch it up, so it's not just your typical catching mechanic. And this image here, we're going to be talking about this image in a little while. Don't you worry about that. Zane has been working on laying out Zone 1 and all the encounters and also the general feel of the island. He's also been working on adding in a non-Mithrin combat encounter. We'll be revealing these mysterious creatures later this month. So, non-Mithrin combat encounter, just remember that. Our composer, I apologize if I mispronounce this, Mejanat, has been working on Zone 1's theme, and we're excited to share this soon. He has also been working on adding some juicy SFX for the combat to give each hit that extra oomph. John, Javen, and Zane have been working on concepting ideas for items to use and craft into new items. As for example, some items affect Mithrin stats temporarily at the cost of some health. Oh, that's pretty cool, actually. Risk and reward. John has also made a bunch of handy quality of life updates to our spawner system for the island, thus making Zane's life a little bit easier when laying out levels. Also, finally, we've been working on integrating some new assets into the project to help improve the look and feel of our environments. We will be making further updates to the appearance of the game as we work on the vertical slice and beyond. Miscellaneous. John has made the reward screen for the end of battles. This is how you know what items you have been rewarded with and how much XP you have gained, and if your Mithrin leveled up or not. Cool. So yeah, you'll be getting items when you kill stuff too. The conversations in our dialogue system have been pretty unorganized. We spent some time categorizing all of them for ease of access. Drake has been working away at a concept art that we can show publishers to help sell the concept of Mithrin. We had a poll to see which starter was your favorite, and was pretty close. Keror won. In response to that, we showed off some early concept of Keror yesterday, which we just went over in the Twitter. Also, we wanted to announce a Q&A, which we're going to be talking about in a second this weekend, and that at the very end, they mentioned a fellow Monster Tamer developer has released their game Costume Kingdom today. Go check it out and play their awesome game. I also recommend checking out Costume Kingdom because it's quite fun. So yeah, that was the newsletter portion of this. We still have a lot to get through. Now we have the Q&A. So I guess the big takeaway of this newsletter is it's a very introductory newsletter, and they're trying to come up with basically the vertical slice seems to be almost like a summary of the game, but in game format, if that makes any sense. So they want to have every major feature incorporated in a small area so they can showcase it to publishers. We're definitely going to have to talk about this image in a bit, but let's go over to the Discord now. So what we're going to do for this, because there were quite a few questions, is we're just going to read the answers, because some of the questions are like meme questions. We're going to ignore those. We're just going to do the answers. Mavi /Zane was nice enough to actually quote them, so it'll make it a lot easier to go through this. Yeah, some of them are silly, so we're just gonna skip down. What would you say the main inspirations are behind Mythren? That was asked by Cirque. I would say outside of Pokemon, we are inspired by Monster Rancher, Persona, and Lost Saga. Might have a slightly different answer to the same question, though. Jampion's question was... Oh, sorry, no, Jampion's one of the devs. Never mind. What is a let's see. Will you answer what that Arcana type is about? Mythren that fall under the Arcane type pull from design traits like light, dark, energy, and magic. Here's an early version of the type icon I'm working on for Arcane. That's pretty cool. Okay, is gathering emblems the only way to get a Mythren? A Mythren emblem acts as a way to unlock the portals that take you to new Mythren. The Mythren themselves require you to complete a quest before they allow you to form a contract with them. That's pretty cool. How many Mythren will the vertical slice have? Exactly 1. The nature of the vertical slice means only focusing on the bare minimum that's required for the game. So in this case, Gracoon versus Gracoon battles. Again, that makes a lot of sense. Instead of starting to work on Caror, for example, they want to get everything set up as sort of a base. So definitely makes sense. What is a vertical slice? Mavi just I'm not going to go into this whole glossary, but Mavi just posted this here. How many Mythrens are planned for the game, and how many can you have in your party? This is a really difficult question. Basically, the short answer is 120, but given how long a Mythren line takes to make, it's very unrealistic unless we have the funding. So I'd expect between 60 and 120, but depending on the funding. That's still plenty. A Mythren line is like as long as they all feel different. Like, this is real-time combat, remember? Like, this isn't like Pokemon or Temtem where they could feel same-ish even if they're different, just depending on how their stats are spread out. Like, as long as each one feels unique, you don't need a whole lot. A Mythren line, so sorry, how much time does it make to make a final version of a Mythren? A Mythren line is currently projected to take 3 to 4 months from concepting to finished in game, minus development spent on long-term balancing. This includes 4 Mythren per line, with the evolutions acting as something akin to Echo Fighter in the most recent Smash game. Oh, okay. So I'm guessing the first form, the fourth form would be like an Echo Fighter to the first form, but the fourth form would be like everything the first form is, but stronger. So that's interesting. That's my assumption anyway. Will there be an open beta or alpha? If not, will there be a closed beta or alpha? We are looking to having a closed private alpha for testing purposes, and then an open/closed beta test later in development to stress various aspects of the game. That being said, both of those are a little bit far out, so things could change by the time we announce such a thing. If you guys have a closed alpha, I want an invitation. Are you open to cross-game Easter eggs with other Monster Tamer games? We're very much open to having cross-game Easter eggs. That's good. And LDD asked that, the Necromancer's Gift dev, so, you know. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. Where does the name Mythren come from? Mythren was originally named by Darkin, but some team members and friends of ours advised we name it something else due to dark not really fitting in the vibe. Mythren have both focus and wising in gameplay. Sorry, that was worded a little funny, or maybe I read it funny. I'm not sure. We landed on Mythren, taking both myth and children and mashing them together. We thought this fits much better due to our narrative of focus with creatures and all of our magic fantasy vibe found within the world of Mythren. So Darkin's kind of interesting. But yeah, I think Mythren makes more sense unless if they're called Darkin, they better be pretty dark. Will you have shinies in the game? If so, what would they be called? Sorry, that was Bisloba's question. I think they answered it below. You said this includes 4 Mythren per line. Does that mean there will be a 4-stage evolution line? Sorry about the wait on this one. I had to make a quick little graphic on Mythren evolutions. All Mythren Evos follow the same basis. A base Evo Mythren can evolve into 3 different things. The choice is yours with which evolution to evolve your partners into. The type changes Evos unlock sooner than the Awakened Evo. Oh, that's interesting. That's really interesting. I wonder if the Awakened one's like better. And the 3 Mythren we've shown so far are all their base evolutions. Oh wow, they're all base forms too. Will you have shinies in the game? Sadly, shinies are quite compatible with our unique take on a monster taming game. Are quite compatible or aren't quite compatible. Although we are looking into alternatives to shinies, we haven't landed on anything concrete yet. But it's something we will do. But it's something we do at least want to have in the spirit of Mithrin. What made you consider doing a newsletter? The goal of the newsletter is to let us die down a bit on the twice-a-week posts on Twitter and return and give a bigger chunk of content drop each month. Plus, lets us go further into detail about unique systems in Mithrin and than a tweet could involve. Another reason was to reduce the workload on planning tweets twice a week. Makes sense. Actually, a newsletter is a really nice. It's a really nice way to get that information out, and it makes for a nice video for me. Will Graccoon ever have his white nose? Could show up as an Easter egg in an NPC Graccoon. I think that's a meme, but I think I don't know what that's. I think that went over my head. Would you do a crossover with other monster taming games? If yes, is there a special monster taming game in which you would like to do a crossover? So something like that, what Monster Sanctuary, Coromon, and Cearlum did. Hermarlin's asking the sexy questions right now. We love to. Our game works really. Sorry, excuse me, I coughed a little bit. Our game works really well with crossovers, both narratively and in gameplay. So yeah, my big mega dream is to cross over in Mythren. Actually isn't with a Tamer game, but with Rivals of Aether. I haven't heard of that game. I think a good chunk of their roster would work amazingly in our game, with Maple or Sylvanos being my personal picks. If I had to pick a Tamer game, I'd obviously love to have Pokemon in our game. Imagine modeling Pokemon officially. Yeah, it's not going to happen. Also, Coromon and Monster Crown have a bunch of fun designs I'd love to see interacting with Mithrin. Well, that's pretty cool. Yeah. I mean, even the Anatons would be kind of cool to do a crossover with. We've seen Coromon, Monster Sanctuary, Monster Crown. They're sort of like... I guess slightly older games than, like, they're not old because they're not even done yet, but you know what I mean. I think they've been around a little longer than Mithrin, so they're sort of like generation 1 of like those kind of games, I guess you could say. I could be wrong on timeline here. Whereas I see games like Anatons, Mithrin, Necromancer's Gift. I'm trying to think of others off the top of my head. I could be wrong. I don't know how long they've been worked on for, but they've reached the spotlight sort of more recently. Even like Cassette Beasts. I see them as sort of like the next generation of games that are a little further out. So that'd be cool to see some of them do crossovers. I'm always down for crossovers. Crossovers are freaking awesome. Will there be IVs and EVs? A sexy man asked that. Nope. Jampion will have to go into details. We'll have to go into how stats are handled within Mithrin and its combat system. I'm happy with that. Are there any dual types? Oh, there we go. We just got confirmation. Scal is a fire-air type. Mr. Bisloba asked, will the game have breeding? If so, how will it work? Nope. Given Mithrin are sentient, and it would be... Oh, they are sentient. And it'd be very hard to write. Also, our gameplay doesn't support a breeding system in its gameplay loop. Part of the same issues with shinies. How deep will the combat be? This is a question Jampion can ask better. Will you be able to choose one Mithrin on your party to be your buddy? And is there going to be mounts for swimming, flying, riding, etc.? Yes, by default, Mithrin who follows you in all overworld environments, you'll be able to ride, swim, glide with them depending on which type of Mithrin there are. These will allow you to reach areas on the Wild Isle you couldn't otherwise access. That's cool. How important are foreheads? Why is this always a thing? Only the strongest Mithrin are known to wield the power of gigantic foreheads. What would you say are the main inspirations behind a Mithrin? Oh, this is Jampion, so he's answering some of the other questions that we had just talked about. Mavi hit the nail on the head with this one. Persona 5, Lost Saga, Monster Rancher, and Pokemon are largest inspirations. Will every Mithrin have an awakened state? Yes, they all do. If one were to not have one, it would be an irregularity and not the norm. So that's kind of interesting. So there might be one without. If I had to pick one game that you'd say is closest to Mithrin in terms of gameplay, that's actually really hard to do. If I had to pick only one, I'd say Monster Rancher, since raising your Mithrin is a very important aspect of the game. Okay, so I'd also throw in a bit of Spyro when it comes to the design of exploration of levels. I freaking love Spyro, so that's fine. Okay, Mavi, are you actually an animal in disguise too? What? For context, this is a joke in LDD server where we found out that LDD is just 25 hamsters who's trying to develop a game. Oh, yeah. I'm totally not 15 red pandas in a trench coat. How deep will the combat be? The ideal combat system is for it to be fairly deep. I want it to be easy to pick up but harder to master. I put on the same level as Smash. Easy enough to get into, but can go much further at a higher level. It'll definitely be less complex than a traditional fighting game, but a bit more in depth than the Ninja Storm series, if that helps. Oh, see, they specifically mentioned Ninja Storm. The forehead thing. Okay, I'm just gonna scroll down, pretend we didn't see that. Foreheads. Oh my god, 4 heads, 5 heads. Stop this. What is this? What will you do? Sorry, what do you feel will stand out most, or be the most unique about this game when compared to other Monster Tamer games? I think our social systems that are akin to Persona social links / confidence will really stick out. What do you feel? Oh, same question. Mavi may have a different answer, but to me it's both a narrative and combat system. Without going into too many details, our narrative focuses a lot on the trainer as a person, as well as the Mithrin they raise. They aren't a silent protagonist. The combat system will have you in really unique situations. Oh, her Marlon asked, will Ed be in the game? It better have been answered. I'm just kidding. Will there be a way to financially support the game? Currently, no, but we are looking into doing a short-term support option for the game. Then also we are amidst the early planning phases of a possible Kickstarter, but that would be a while from now if it does happen. Will there be any foxes? Never say never, maybe. And as a follow-up question, are all the creatures in the game planned, or are there some concepts that still have yet to be designed? Definitely not all of them are planned. We're still coming up with cool concepts even now. Will Ed be in the game? I'd love to be able to see I'd love to be able to model a bunch of reference NPCs of people we know and characters of our friends of ours. However, no strong set-in-stone plans regarding this right now. Shh, it's okay, Zane. Shh, it needs to happen. It's okay. It's all good. What happens if the creatures in your party die? A simple game over, something special. If all 3 Mithrin in your party are out of health and you have no more of our health store and restoring item, then you'll be taking home island start of the next day. Do you have anything you can tell us about the story? The story is vague-ish. The short, vague-ish version of the story is he plays a trainer who grew up on an island with parents of different areas of the Mythren world. Due to this, the trainer has had a hard time fitting into the island's cultures while they're growing up. And now they're trying to find a place that they feel like they really belong to. What happens if all the creatures in your party die? We just talked about... to expand. We're expanding. There are different types of battles that you could wipe out in. If on the exploration island or in a tournament that isn't story important, then yes, you could be taken back to the home island at the start of the next day. For important story battles, you'd have different options like retrying or potentially going back to a set amount of time so you can prepare for the battle in a different way. Will there be... I already answered that. So like Zane said, we won't have IVs and EVs. It's just that he's expanding. Okay, perfect. The idea in Mythren is that you can build out your Mythren any way you want. Since getting and raising a Mythren requires a decent amount of work, getting a bad roll for stats would feel very bad. Haha. Every time you level up, you get SP stat points that you can use to train your Mythren with. You can use these on attack, defense, intelligence, speed, or HP. Stat names change constantly, so don't hold me to those. There are also a wellness stat, makes sure you take care of your Mythren, and their friendship level. Okay, good. I'm happy with that. I don't like IVs. They freaking suck, man. Okay, so how many types will there be, and are there creatures that can be dual types? We know there's dual types. There's 6 types: Earth, Fire, Water, Air, Arcane, and Bio. Oh, Bio's interesting. And yes, Mythren can have dual typing, Scowl as an example. From 0 to 10, how sexy is your community? 42. Are you hoping the game to be competitively viable? Yes, it'll be tough work. It actually has informed a lot of our design choices, since there are certain things we try to keep account for, like local fights on the same system. Will there be an active day-night cycle? It'll be similar to Persona. You'll stay in day or night until your activity points run up, then transition to the next time. Would you consider paid DLC if the game is successful? For sure, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Will all creatures be evenly distributed for each type, or will there be certain creature elements that will be harder to find, get, or less? Our current goal is to have a certain amount of each type for the base evolution of Mythren. Their secondary type doesn't factor into this. It's just to help us make sure we're keeping things generally even amounts, the types of varieties given to the smaller roster. But I don't think we'll be restricting ourselves with type change evolutions in this regard. Same question. The creatures are somewhat evenly distributed. The major caveat is that it depends on the zone. So for example, if our zone doesn't have any places where it makes sense to put a fire Mythren, like an underwater zone, there may be none in that zone. Are there creatures for the game planned, or there are concepts yet to be designed? Some are planned, some are not. We do have a fair bit of concepts for Mythren, but we want to make sure that we pick carefully given the limited number of Mythren. How do you feel about the starting point of the forehead meat? Oh god. How can you customize your playstyle? You can do this by how you build your Mythren stats. We kind of answered that already. Okay, can you reset? Okay, this is a good one. So respecking. Yes, there will be content that allows you to reset your stats. It'd be a real pain to start from scratch if you messed up your stat points. Evolution, you cannot reset though. Yes, that makes sense. If you evolve, you can't unevolve, but you can reset your stats. So that's good. What made you want to create the game? So I think multiple team members are going to chime in on this. I've actually wanted to create a monster taming game since I was in the 8th grade, lol. It's been an idea that's been stuck in the back of my head since 2018. I decided since there was no one making a monster taming game with active battle system that fit what I wanted, I just try to make it myself. Since the concept and team has grown a ton, it's been really exciting to have everyone on the team join due to excitement for the project. Okay, so Zane also chimed in. When I was approached by John about doing models for a Pokemon-like game, I was like, sure, I'd love to. As time went on, I really dug into the Persona twist in there at the time and have since taken up other tasks beyond just modeling characters. The Wild Isles, to extent, is my game design. Oh, geez, look at this paragraph. Can you ride them on? We got that answered. Will some Mythren be changed before release? Okay, I'm going to answer these in groups of 3s. Yes, you can ride them, although some are automatically unable to ride, glide, or swim, and will have function to make up for that. Likely yes, although we're not sure. Raccoon keeps on undergoing updates here and there. Our platforms that we aim to release on is PC and Switch, although Switch is up in the air as we haven't sat down and figured out the logistics of a Switch release. Okay. Will you keep the archive of this channel for Bisloba? Could the community influence the game? Are you going to expand on the classic rock, paper, scissors type combat? And if not, do you already have a type effectiveness chart? Yep, we have a archived category set up for the Q&A. We're open to community influence, although to what extent I'm not sure at the moment. Rock, paper, scissors is currently part of our combat design, so no. Wait, rock, paper, scissors currently part of our combat design, so currently no. Why is there a slow... Okay, that's Discord stuff. Will there be any special ways to evolve your Mythrins through stones or love or something else? What would be the biggest hurdle that you have encountered during this project? A, currently no. Evolutions are tied to the rank of your bond with your Mythren, and that's your choice to make. The problem is always scope and scalability of a feature. Making sure we don't create a new feature that forces us to make a bunch of new animations and otherwise go unused. Okay, let's see. Thought they had... Okay, let's keep going down. Will there be TMs? This is still in development, but the current plan is to have them learn moves by leveling up. There is a plan that involves finding Mythren skills on the overworld that your Mythren can learn based on their element type, but that's not set in stone. That's cool. I like that. Will Mythren cover dark themes in its story? Yes, but no. The game is lighthearted, but we will touch on some serious themes. Think of Avatar: The Last Airbender, the show, not the movie. Thanks for delineating upon that, champion. How did you handle some of these hurdles? Does the character you play as have hunger? Okay, this is good. Hunger bar, health points for fall damage or something like that. Will there be key items or Mythren that help you interact with the landscape, moving boulders, climbing, etc.? We handled these so far by coming up with unique solutions that not only solve one scalability / scope problems, but many at once. Nope, there isn't a Tamer health bar or hunger bar, but if you fall from certain locations, you'll respawn back at your last known safe location. So Monster Sanctuary is kind of like that if you hit the spikes. Key items are likely, but for the overworld, using your Mithrin's elemental abilities are also key in exploring new areas you couldn't otherwise get to. Cool. Will there be genders? If yes, will you make slightly different models? Will there be a crafter or optional? Cosmetic items would be nice. Are you able to customize your Mythren? For Mythren, nope. For the Tamers, yep. So that's in reference to genders. There is a crafting system in Mythren. We have made talks about cosmetic items, but there aren't any specific cosmetic items developed right now. But we definitely want to include some. So it'd be cool if you can put some cosmetics on your Mythren. In terms of stats and playstyle based on skills / stats, yes. For cosmetics, as stated above, there are plans for it in terms of color option and possibly equipment, but it hasn't been developed just yet. Will Mithrin also have some sort of equipment or items that they could use or hold? Will there be a non-binary gender option in the game, and what is the reason behind your decision? Will the game feature day / night cycle and weather system? Currently no, but we're not opposed to the idea of held items as something to explore down the road. We will be having an option for players of all genders in any version of the game. There will be a light character customization, meaning changing of skin, eye, hair color alongside comes one's gender. We've made this choice to make sure everyone feels like themselves in the world of Mithrin. The game's time will progress like Personas. Okay, did they mention this? You spend enough points and you spend all your points and then you move over to the next day. Let's see. How did you meet all the others? So I've known Carl, and then in brackets Corey, for quite a while through playing various games together on Discord. Glimpse I've known since I was in middle school, and Von Boy since I was in elementary school. A long time. I met Mejanot and Rema during the undergrad studies. We've played Smash Bros together. I met during my master's study in Connecticut during the game dev meetup. I met Mavi at GDC around a year and a half ago through Artsoft stream. Check him out, he's an awesome dude. I met Zeke and Carter and Cyber through Zane. So yeah, I did lurk a little bit in here, but everything past this red line I definitely haven't seen. How much do you think that exposure through YouTubers like Ed and Bisloba affects the game? They very much do, although not in the typical sense. They stand as a very helpful platform that aids us Monster Tamer games to get the word out about each of our respective games. We really do appreciate the hard work. Well, thank you. Do starters have a theme their designs are bound to? No, there's no particular theme for the starters, but all Mythren do have a design philosophy. The basic gist is that they need to use elements from at least two animals, a main one and a secondary animal, with the secondary animal's traits needing to be loosely there. An element and aspect of that element. If it's earth is the aspect, leaves Gracoon, and having a strong silhouette. Okay, so is there a Mythren subreddit? And if not, would you want one? If you're asking if there's a Reddit or not, the answer is yes. Actually, okay, I gotta check that out. Are the legendaries planned? That's a good question, Bisloba. Will you limit the amount of questions which I'm allowed to ask? Nope. Is there legendaries planned? The current answer is we're not sure. Legendaries and Mythren is a weird concept, but we have talked about including them. As we come to more of a final decision, we'll fit you in on all the details. What would you want in the game but can't have it? Something like a wild area, but actually being able to play and go on adventures with your friends in the space. Oh, Marlon's asking some hot questions. What is this? Oh, you'll find out, Marlon. If you guys have made it this far, this video is 40 minutes of me talking. I hope that's okay. Pizza, what are those things? We will be talking about these in the coming weeks, but they're 100% not Mythren, and thus not something you can form a pact with like Mythren. For me, it's designs of each Mythren in combat. Every time we come up with a Mythren and start talking about how they'll work in combat, the ideas are really exciting. That was what they like most about Mythren. What do you like most about Mythren? Same question. I really love the personality of each Mythren and making their emblems. Why would a Mithrin want to form a pact with a human? There may be an external threat to their world that has required Mithrin and humans to team up, and that and the fact that a lot of the Mythren love competing with each other, and humans help grow them stronger. More details will be coming out from a lore perspective at some point, but Pact is the equivalent to catching in this game, without Mythren being entirely forced. So it's that same vein as Kindred Fates with the bonding system. From what I remember, the protagonist won't be a generic silent one, right? So what are her motivations? This is copied from a different question, but it's pretty much the same answer. The short, vague-ish version is that you play as a Okay, so we already talked about that. Did humans and Mithrin fight over world once, and are humans able to survive and fight with a Mithrin or without a Mithrin? They did not fight over the world, and for the most part, humans are not able to survive a fight against a Mithrin alone without a Mithrin. Mithrin are not hostile, though, for the most part. Okay, we're almost at the end. Ed? Why are they asking? What is this? Shouldn't we be closed now? I just closed. Are all of the evolutionary lines going to be a 2-stage process, or will there be a 3-stage one? Currently, we don't have any plans for a 3-stage evolution, but if there were, it'd probably be a special case. Will there be a gym leader equivalent? Major tournaments are probably the closest thing we'll have to gym leader equivalents. Oh, and they said Ed. Will there be a city in which you could buy stuff? And if yes, how is the money named? And how far spread are the humans in the world? Also, how strong compared to Mithrin? So they did answer that. Yes, there's a city known as Kochent. You can visit here during your journey to buy items and participate in various tournaments. The currency of Kochent is known as Mons. Humans are about as well spread as they are in our world. Humans reside on the northern island of the region Mithrin takes place in. The Wild Isle are on the south island and is uninhabited due to how hostile and dangerous the environment can be. There is also smaller islands, and this is where the home island is on the game. Do Mithrins and humans like each other in general, or does the majority just accept them as a lesser evil for their own gain? It's a friendly relationship. There may be some people who generally dislike Mithrin, and some Mithrin who generally dislike people, though. Do humans live on other places than where we live, like on a faraway island? And do they interact with each other, friendly or in a more evil way? So there are definitely other humans in this world. For this game, we're focusing on a particular region of islands. You'll see people from these other regions in the city area and tournaments. Some factions are friendly with each other, and some have animosity towards each other. So that was the entire Q&A, plus the newsletter, plus the Twitter information. This is the longest Monster Tamer showcase we've ever done, but I hope you guys did make it this far, because if you did, I have some exclusive information regarding this guy. Remember this guy? Okay, you remember? Good, okay. Okay, so if you guys remember, we were just talking about that little monster that you see in the grass, and it's not a Mithrin. So, and this is directly screen capped from my conversation with Zane. This is the critter who keeps on making his way into my posts. These creatures are known as darkin. Remember they mentioned that they were originally going to call the game darkin, or at least the creatures instead of Mithrin. So this is where that concept went into. So this is the early concept art for the creatures, but basically these are corrupted beings, so they're not your friends, okay? Just remember that. These are mysterious corrupted beings, and little is known about these monsters who cause havoc. Tamers are frequently used as a line of defense against this threat. In the game, Darkin will be something for you to fight that replaces wild battles you would find in other games that bring a unique combat scenario with them. So these are non-capturable, these are enemies, these are almost like phantoms in a way, right? So because the Mithrin are sentient and they're not something you would just randomly fight, this is what sort of replaces that. In Kindred Fates, they get around that by having the fog, but that's not the case here, right? So you need something to fight in the form of wild encounters, so this is it. This concept art looks really cool. I think these things are going to be a really cool addition. I'm very curious to see how many different types of Darkin they have, and then this further extends, because we know that there's a different sort of type of monster, we can have limitless possibilities. In Kindred Fates, The one thing I am a little concerned with is how boss battles will play out, because if all of the bosses are also kinfolk, I'm wondering if they'll just have the standard kinfolk movesets, or they'll have custom movesets. These darkin can be specifically tailored to PvE. They don't have to worry about PvP balance or anything like that. So I do think it's kind of interesting. We could have some Dark Souls level bosses. But yeah, I'm not going to keep you guys any longer than I already have. I really appreciate it if you have gotten this far in the video and sort of dealt with my stumbling and my oh god, so much reading. Yeah, I really do appreciate it. So definitely check out Mythren. I'll leave their Twitter and their Discord linked in the description. If you guys did enjoy, I'd appreciate it if you'd like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, GymLeaderEd. Check out our Monster Taming Discord. We're getting up there. We already have more than 700 members. We're getting big, man. Anyways, yeah, you can also check out my Patreon where you can see these videos early. Until next time, peace.